Okay, this tutorial will cover entering activities and assigning logic ties in Microsoft Project 2010. So let's get started. We have a blank Gantt chart on the screen. This is pretty much what the software looks like when you pull it up. We're going to go to the Project tab in the upper left-hand side of the screen. We're going to click on that, and the ribbon folds down. We're going to go to an icon called Project Information. This is where we fill in just a few basic items about the project start date and the current date. Right now we're going to assume that the project starts today and the current date is today. You may have a project that's already ongoing that you're trying to set up that has a start date in the past. You just want to be sure that you set that up here in the Project Information tab. You hit OK. And let's go back to the left side of the screen and start with the task name column. I personally, for my schedules, like a summary band on the top of it. A lot of people want to see the overall start and finish of all the schedule activities. So I'm going to type in XYZ project. And right now it shows up as an activity, but when we're going to use the indent feature on Microsoft Project to make that into a summary band. So we'll move forward and enter our first item on the schedule, which will be a start milestone. We're going to call this project start, and the duration for that is going to be 0 because milestones have a duration of 0. Alright, after the project starts, we're going to have some tasks. So I put task 1, task 2, task 3. You can see how easy this is. Basically, we don't want to have any spaces between the schedule activities, because the scheduling software views that space in itself as an activity. And so the fewer spaces you have in the schedule, the better, especially when you go to export the file to other softwares, which could create some problems. So you can look in the duration column and see that the duration of 1 day is plugged in as a temporary placeholder. This is what we've set up in our project defaults as an estimated duration. So we want to plug in some real durations. And we'll say that task 1, for example, will take 30 days. And task 2 will take 10 days. Task 3 will take 20 days. And task 4 will take 5 days. And then we finish it off with a project finish milestone. And that will have 0 days, of course. Okay, we've got a list of activities, a work list if you will. Let's indent these activities to create our summary bar at the top. We highlighted the activities by clicking on Project Start and hitting the Shift down arrow. We highlighted them all. We'll go to the Task tab on the upper left hand side of the screen, reveal the ribbon, and then there is an icon here called Indent. Indent task. We hit that icon and you can see now that the upper activity used to be an activity, now it's a summary band. And if you want, you can change the color, the background, the text to make it stand out as a different band. And let's save that. Okay, so now we have the framework of a schedule. What we still need to do is assign calendar to these activities. So I'm going to go here to the task calendar column, and I'm going to select the standard work calendar, and I'm going to go to the lower right hand corner and drag that down. It will make all the activities assigned to the standard calendar. So now we have our work list in order. We're ready to assign logic ties. Now there's several ways we can tie the logic on these schedule activities. You may ask yourself, well, what is logic? Well, it's a set of instructions that imply sequence. We're saying first this activity is going to happen, then this activity is going to happen. And you may have a couple of activities that are happening concurrently. We want to represent that on the schedule. So you can actually pull up a column called predecessors, and then you can also pull up a column next to it called successors. And the predecessors are going to be the activities that precede the activity that you've highlighted. So the project start has no predecessors. It's going to have a successor, an activity that happens after the project start milestone, which is task 1. So we'll enter a number 3 in this column for the line item 3, and we hit enter. You see it puts a logic tie from the project start milestone to task 1. And that's one way that you can connect logic ties. The second way, you can actually go to the Gantt chart itself and you can hover over the activity, and you can see this four-way arrow that pops up. You hold the mouse down and drag the logic over to the next activity, or the activity that you want to tie. And it made a finish to start relationship, meaning when this activity finishes, then the successor activity can start. Okay, so that's another way that you can tie logic to activities. Let's talk about a third way. You can actually highlight the activities on the left, shift down arrow, and you can go to the task tab and find this link. It looks like a chain link icon. Click on that, and you've just linked all these activities with finish to start relationships. See how everything's connected in stair-step fashion? Now let's say I want tasks 2 and 3 to start at the same time. I don't want it to happen finish to start like this. I can go to the Gantt chart and I can double click on that link between task 2 and 3, which I'm going to do. And a box pops up. You want to change this task dependency. You can actually select from 4 different choices. Finish to start, start to start, which means when task 2 starts, task 3 also starts. You can choose finish to finish, which is when task 2 finishes, task 3 also finishes. And start to finish, I'll say nobody ever uses this, so don't use it. So I'm going to choose start to start. And so it moved the activity back to where tasks 2 and 3 are happening at the same time. Well, we left an open end with task 2. We need to close that off. We don't want any open ends in the schedule. Schedules are supposed to be logic driven, and any open end creates an opportunity for a delay in the project, because we need to have each and every activity either directly or indirectly pushing the project end date, since all these items have a potential to delay the schedule. So we're going to tie this activity to task 4. Okay, we made a finish to start activity to task 4. So now this concludes our tutorial on how to enter activities and set up logic ties in Microsoft Project 2010. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.